Today I'm going to be breaking down Amapiano by Asake and Olamide, where as usual I'm going to be talking you through the various things that I'm picking up on as we go through it. In terms of the overall theme of the song, in addition to bringing good vibes and energy, the track definitely delivers a strong sense of confidence and boastfulness around both of the artists' success and dominance within the music industry. Finally, before we do go ahead and get into the video, if you have an artist or a track that you would like me to review, break down, whatever it is that you want to call it, then go ahead, pop that into the comments below. Also, if you are interested in my setup, i.e. headphones, mic and camera, I've put links to those in the description. So if you do want to go ahead and check those out, then you're more than welcome to. Let's get it.
Amapiano, piano, it's a big vibe, but the girls them know. Steadily, steadily, heavily. Amapiano, piano, it's a big vibe, but the girls them know.
Okay, right, so let's go ahead as usual and unpack what we've heard so far. Instrumentally, right, this is really interesting to me because we're 26 seconds in and we've already had plenty of shifts and changes. So let's kick off with the intro. Firstly, I like the fact that it's short. Anybody that's been watching me for a while, you will know I'm not a massive fan of long intros. But we get a short intro here. But when we get opened up, we're immediately hit with a sample of Asake's vocals, right? It's just him saying them no, and they're kind of repeated a couple of times. But we only get a short glimpse of those, right? They don't appear again until sort of like further down the line. Then we get these synths come in, dun, 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 which is absolutely banging. We've got a shaker. It's probably not a shaker, but I'm going to call it a shaker just for ease of reference. And then what happens is something interesting, right? We get a very short hit and then boom, all of that we heard in the intro is stripped away and we've just got Asake's vocals, right? Very prominent, very upfront, very crisp on the track. And then we have some, what I'm going to call filler vocals, right? And it's just, you know, Asake says something and then we get he says something again, but we actually only get 2 lots of those filler vocals and that's it. And then what happens after that is all of those vocals come together, right? They're stacked, they're layered, they're wide, and it sounds like there's literally like 100 people in the room. And within that section, we get a very short glimpse of a bass. Literally, it's not even in there for a second. It's in and boom, it's gone. And then the final thing that happens before everything else that then comes in, so bass, shakers, all of that stuff comes back in, we get these gospel-like what are they? Gospel-like organs that come in, right? They're pressed, and then we get a little key run as well. I'm going to take it back. I'll try and pick out as much of that stuff as I can as it happens, but literally from the minute I hit play, you're going to hear those vocals come in, and you're going to hear that dun 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 synth come in pretty much straight away, right? I'll take it back. Right, there's those vocals. Synth, shakers.
Amapiano,
right, there's that hit.
It's a big vibe, but the girls them
now
know.
it's just the vocals. There's that glimpse of the bass.
Amapiano,
organs.
piano, it's a big vibe, but the girls them know. They see me coming, them they shout hallelujah. Every day it be like a new year. Overseas they want chop me like suya.
Right, nice cut there. But actually the thing that I wanted to point out here is listen to what happens here, right? So we get a very, very, very subtle transition, right? We get a ting, 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 right? And it's slightly off beat, so I'm probably not going to hit it on beat. I'll just point to the headphones when it comes in. But when we get that subtle transition, we then get some more consistent keys, right? They definitely come into the mix, but the kick drum also drops in as well. Again, I'm going to take that back so you can hear that. Going to be coming up. Coming in. There. They see me coming, they shout hallelujah. Keys. Every day you beat like a new year. Overseas they want chop me like suya. I know beat dog, but this do ya. Tire so greasy, oh, eat the dance like grease, breezy, oh, easy.
you. I'm on my wrist, they code, they freeze you. Them know they call me Mr. Money for no reason, yo. I see they go, Amapiano. We go show, we go let them know. Now we dey run the town and any show bigger than any war, stronger than any foe.
Okay, right. Listen to what happens here, right? So before we hit the second segment of the first verse, we get a cut. We then get those kind of gospel-like organs that come in again. But what's really interesting to me is there are a couple of things that change within the track. So the first one, just pay attention to the rhythm of the percussions, right? One thing that I notice is that changes and we actually get some sort of like double ups and maybe even triples on the kick drum. And that's something that we didn't have in the song prior to that coming in. Another thing to pay attention to here are those filler vocals, right? Now, we actually had a glimpse of those in the first segment of the first verse, right? But now we're in the second segment, you notice that they're much more kind of consistent, right? Much more frequent within the track, but also they've got a rhythm to them. And then the final thing is Asake's flow, right? Pay attention to his flow. It's shifted, it's shorter, it's sharper, it's punchier, right? And he's not kind of following through so much on some of those words. Again, take it back and you can listen to that.
Like Suya, I know beat dog, but this do ya. Tire so glizio, he dey dance like Chris Bizio, easy. I'm on my
right, organ press coming in a minute.
Them know they call me Mr. Money for no reason. I see they go, Amapiano.
Right, pay attention to the beat.
We go let them know. Now we dey run the sound
to the flow.
Bigger than any war, stronger than any foe. Bad man flows,
filler vocals.
On their toes, on the low, the guy them know. My bed is short, South Jamo, Colorado, pass me the fatty jumbo. Piano, it's a big vibe.
Strings, mate.
Steadily, heavily. I'm a piano, it's a big vibe, but it tells them no.
Yeah, this bangs, man. Right, we're about to enter into a cutscene, I can tell. So before we get into the cutscene, let's just talk about that chorus there, right? So additional instruments, we get these strings come in, but actually we get a variance within those. So the first set of strings, right, they're playing some longer notes, right? And then we get this second set of string that comes in, like giving it this, mate, right? And it absolutely bangs. And then further down the track, it sounds like a saxophone comes in. And the reason why, and I tell you that I'm unsure, is because, you know, a saxophone has a very distinctive sound, right? So it's kind of like a weird one because even though that sound comes through, it doesn't completely sound like a saxophone, like that distinctive where you can definitely go, boom, yeah, that's a saxophone. But it does sound like it to me. So I'm going to take it back. Right, just listen to that long strings. Then we get a cheeky little riff, which I'm a massive fan of, and then just towards the end, we get what sounds like a saxophone. Right, just listen.
Right, but the girls them know.
Right, long strings.
Steadily, heavily.
Riff coming in.
I'm a piano.
There.
Piano. It's a big vibe, but the girls them know.
There's that sax there.
Yeah, what you call? Ọkọ̀ ní gíran. Bad bitches want to wọlé ṣẹ́rí wọn. Turn me up, oya carry on. Shake your caravan for the Don Corleone. What the fuck? Get it on the floor. I can never fall, RIP to 44. I'm trading all of my sorrow now for my peace. I'm glad I made it, had a belly of the beast.
Okay, right. So, firstly, really like the contrast that we have here from, you know, Asake, like he's obviously singing in the first part of the song. We've got Olamide now who's rapping, so nice contrast vocally. Couple of things that I've noticed, and do you know what? Like, and I think unless you're properly hardcore listening to this, man, you probably won't notice. But what we actually get is the keys, right? Now the keys are buried quite far back in the mix, but they are definitely different to the keys that we had in Asake's part of the song. And I don't mean different in terms of the sound that's being used. I mean actually different in terms of what's being played, the rhythm of them, right? They are different, but only ever so slightly. Second thing to pay attention to here is those filler vocals. Right, now again, if you're just casually listening, it sounds like those filler vocals are the same, but they're not, right? They've changed ever so slightly. If you pay attention, there's much more of a larger gap between when the filler vocal ends and the next one comes in. Again, you know, we're going to take it back so you can listen to that.
Yeah.
Listen to those keys.
Bad bitches want to wall a shady one.
Rhythm is different.
Turn me up, we are carry on. Shake your caravan for the don't call it on.
See, there's the gap.
Fuck, get it on the floor.
The
I can never fall, I rap it to 44.
Yeah.
I'm trading all of my soul now for my peace. I'm glad I made it, had a belly, I'm the beast. From the ground up, niggas stand up. See the fandom, we know the random. But wait and shine down, and then it never done. I'm telling y'all, better get the memorandum. Once in a
See, another change has happened here, but it's very, very subtle, right? So you see the synth, right? In the first segment of this verse, that synth was hitting on almost every kick drum, right? And even in between. But the slight shift now in the second segment of the verse is that when that kick drum hits, that synth is not always there. So they've just kind of made this simple change, just strip that synth out on a small part of the track. But just pay attention to it, because you'll notice that on this second segment, there's a sense of kind of like something is missing. Not in a bad way, but there's an emptiness that occurs as we hit the second segment, right? Just listen, man, listen. I'm going to take it back a bit, right? Listen. Pay attention to the synth now. See how frequent it is.
What the fuck? Get it on the floor. I can never fall. I rap it to 44. I'm trading all of my
right, now the change is going to happen.
I'm glad I made it, had a belly, I'm the beast. From the ground up, niggas stand up. See the fandom, we know the random. But wait and shine down, and then it never done. I'm telling y'all, better get the memorandum. One thing I know, Amapiano, all of my piano. No Messi, I know, Italiano, Lucky Luciano, killing bitches, all I know.
Jazzy keys there, bro. Jazzy keys, didn't have them before, listen.
See the fandom, we know the random.
Coming up.
Shine down, and then it never done. I'm telling y'all, better get the memorandum. One thing I know, Amapiano, all of my piano. No Messi, I know, Italiano, Lucky Luciano, killing bitches, all I know.
Piano, it's a big vibe.
Rings back in now.
Steadily, heavily. Amapiano, it's a big vibe, but the girls them know.
Nice outro. Keys are in there. Saxophone.
I see they go, Amapiano. We go show, we go let them know. Now we dey run the town and any show. We got than any woe, stronger than any foe. Bad man flows, put them on their toes. On the low, the girl them know. My bed do short down South
those filler
Colorado.
vocals.
Pass me the fatty jumbo.
Yeah, nice. It's going to see us out. All of the core stuff stripped out, just a beat. Bangs, mate. Okay, that's it for me. If you want to see more breakdown and analyses, there'll be things popping up on the screen right now. Other than that, don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and I will see you in the next one.